Good afternoon. I trust that you are having a fantastic day so far. You are just in time for Newsfeed here on TV47. I am Mothoni Minor. Starting off, Chief Magistrate Evelyn Olwande has been sworn into the Judicial System Commission to assume the role of Commissioner. Olwande was appointed for the position by President Uhuru Kenyatta on the 16th of January this year. That story will air in a few. Now, moving on, nurses and clinical officers from Mombasa County held their weekly demonstration this morning over the failure of the government to hold talks with them last week. Health workers from other counties in the region also joined the demonstrations to support their colleagues. Fatma Ngwena is in Mombasa and now joins us live.
This is a mega demonstration of nurses and clinical officers from Mombasa County, with the strike entering its 12th week alongside nationwide health workers strike. The health workers have vowed to carry on with their strike until their grievances are met, among them promotions and risk allowance. We have Mr. Peter Maroko, the Secretary General of Kenya National Union Nurses Mombasa branch. Maybe he should tell us something more about the mega demonstration today.
Yeah, we are entering our 12th week on strike for Mombasa, and our issues have remained the same all along since we started our strike in November, in which we demanded that the county government of Mombasa pays all remittances that they have not been able to pay for 4 months, and also promotes all health workers who are due in phase 1 as agreed in July, and also they do pay salaries in good time. Yeah, we've had a number of engagements, and in those engagements, we've hit a snag all along. On Tuesday, it was a hope that the county government would be able to ensure that we reach an agreement. Unfortunately, Wednesday, when we were supposed to go and fine-tune the agreement so that it can be agreeable to all parties, we found out that the county government was push-foot on actually the issue of ensuring that they pay at least 2 months in remittances. Another thing is that they had recalled an agreement we made in July, whereby managers, those who are working in managerial positions, were to be given a grade extra on top of what they have. So when we demanded that we go back to the agreement we made earlier the previous day, they were a bit reluctant, and we pulled out of the discussions, whereby we went back and demanded now they do pay all the months, that is 4 months, September to December, and 2, they also do promote all who are due in the month of December, up to the month of December, and also they ensure that promotions of phase 2, which were competitive promotions, are done before we are able to go back to the discussions to reach an agreement so that we can go back to work. Ever since, we've not been able to get any invite to go and engage further, although there has been lobbying here and there from various parties, which I cannot mention here. But the county government officers who are authorized to invite us for our meetings have not been able to call us for any meeting. Equally, we've also demanded that the county government also gets in touch with other counties, especially through their council of governors, which has also been dilly-dallying or backtracked on the agreements that we made nationally. And what we are calling for nationally is basically the government ensures that we are well protected when we are catering for patients at our various places of work. And also, we are paid risk allowance equal to the amount of money basically being paid to other health workers. Because the risks we go through, or the various people who have died due to COVID, are working in the same environment. So when they say that nurses and other health workers do not qualify to be paid this much, then we fail to understand which scientific reasoning the Council of Governors or SRC are using. Because if you can pay doctors 20,000, a doctor comes and sees a patient and leaves that patient for the nurses to continue managing for a period of up to 8 hours with the patient, who then requires to be paid more? So we are calling upon the Council of Governors, the SRC, to get back to their advices they are giving the counties and relook to it and ensure that they comply with what other countries and what we are demanding for, because we have provided every reason as to why we are asking for 20,000 or 30,000. So our resolve to ensure that our push for this to be effected will not, we are not going to go back on it. So we will not call this strike off. So unless the government of Mombasa reaches the agreement or agrees to our demands, and equally the national government does also agree to our demands, we sign and agree on an implementation schedule that will now, we are even ready to actually phase out the payment of that risk allowance. But when it comes to compensation of health workers who succumb, we don't need much. The law is already there. When we're asking for group life insurance, there are families who have succumbed. So their families need to be taken care of. And the responsibility has been placed squarely on the government of Kenya to ensure that these families get proper health care, they get proper compensation as their family, their relatives are not going to be there, so that they continue with the life as they go forth.
That was our reporter Fatma Ngwena, and she will give us a more detailed report on the Mombasa health crisis later on the other subsequent bulletins. Now, the party leaders Kalonzo Musyoka of Wiper, ANC's Musalia Mudavadi, Moses Wetangula of Ford Kenya, and their KANU counterpart Gideon Moi have hinted of forming a coalition ahead of 2022 general elections. The leaders said they were working together to ensure that they jointly form the next government in 2022 polls. Speaking in Machakos, they said they will use the 3 forthcoming by-elections in Machakos, Kabuchai, and Matungu as litmus tests for their victory in the next general elections. Mudavadi said they will unite until they ensure the country doesn't go to the hands of cartels.
Unafanya kitendo hicho kitakuwa na direct implication ya mwezi wa 8 2022.
Na Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, kiongozi wa Wiper. Tumetembea safari mrefu na tunataka tuende safari ndefu zaidi tukiwa kitu kimoja.
Kwamba hii safari tulio nayo ni safari ya kuunganisha wa Kenya together as one, walking to the same destiny with the same intentions for our country, of making sure nobody is deprived, nobody runs away with our country.
Ukifika huko kwa booth, kwa debe, ufikirie 2022. Ufikirie nini? Mwezi ya 3 tarehe 18 itakuja, lakini ukifika kwa debe ufikirie 2022.
Now, with the rising lakes in the Rift Valley region, the habitats are now becoming a threat to living organisms, especially birds such as flamingos. Enviralists and locals in Nyandarua have witnessed a rare and phenomenal occurrence of flamingos in Lake Olbolosat. The lake is said to be the smallest lake in Kenya. The tourism sector has confirmed that it will invest there to attract tourists. The freshwater lake is said to be a habitat for over 800 hippopotamus.
Because what have happened to the lakes along the Great Rift Valley, we know that because of water level in those lakes have gone up, and therefore the water pH has gone down, and the algae, the food for the flamingo, is no longer available. Maybe that's an advantage also to them that they choose to come on this side. The presence of flamingo in Lake Olbolosat automatically indicates that the water chemistry has changed. That is the alkalinity. The pH level has gone up. That is between 9 and 11 using the previous measurements that we have. And that is what has contributed to the growth of the algae, the food for the flamingos.
And His Excellency, the Governor, has really gone a step ahead to ensure that we market this lake, we market it for tourism purposes, and we have a number of tourism products that one can actually be able to enjoy right here. This site has over 800 hippos, giant hippos I must say. You can come and enjoy boat rides right here. You can come and enjoy sports fishing. You can enjoy a cold drink and sumptuous meal by the beach. You've got amazing cottages right by the beach, whether that's Kichakani or Samawat, and a whole range of others.
Wakaaji wa eneo hili la Mount Kenya region badala ya kuenda safari ndefu ya kuenda kutafuta flamingo kule Lake Nakuru, badala ya kupeleka familia yako mbali ili waone flamingo, hata mashule ambao wako katika maeneo haya muanze kupanga safari ya kuja kutembea Lake Oroborosat. Hapa kuna mandhari mazuri, kuna milima, minuko, na vile vile watafurahia sana watapokuja kuona flamingos hapa Oroborosat.
The Chief Magistrate, Evelyn Olwande, has been sworn in into the Judicial Service Commission. They are to assume the role of a commissioner. Olwande was appointed for the position by President Uhuru Kenyatta on the 16th of January this year.
And as a fellow sister in the Judicial Service Commission. You joined the commission at a time that is not more special or more difficult than any other time of the commission. The work of the commission is sacred work at all times. And in my mind, there is not a time we have been called upon to be less judicious in the discharge of our duties at the Judicial Service Commission. The fact that we are going to be looking for a Chief Justice and a Judge of the Supreme Court, big as those positions are, and considering that they sit in the apex court, is not, in my mind, bigger than the work that we do every day. I have heard you speak here, and I'm praying that you will remember what you yourself chose to say. I am praying that you will not find roadblocks on your path to the discharge of your very sacred duty as a commissioner. I know of fewer commissions that are as important and that discharge a more onerous task than the Judicial Service Commission. You will find, starting this afternoon, that you are joining a team of some exceedingly professional members who are very rigid in their thought. And so you will soon learn that you will need to engage your persuasive gear. You will need to engage your teamwork gear, because here you cannot succeed alone. As you join the Judicial Service Commission today, you have just come from, I think, one of the most competitive elections I have witnessed for the period I've been at the judiciary. And I have myself been involved in campaigns for KMJA leadership, not as a candidate.
Congratulations, Evelyn O'Hale Olwande. Now, 18 people have been arrested and over 3,000 liters of illicit brew nabbed in an operation conducted by police officers in Nyahururu town. The crackdown of illicit liquor was conducted in valleys and along River Ewasonyiro. The police were acting on a tip-off from the public before invading the brewing dens. Some of the suspects escaped the dragnet and disappeared in a nearby forest. The containers used in brewing the liquor were destroyed and the contents spilled. Chiefs from affected areas called on the law courts to give stiff penalties to those convicted as one of the measures to help tackle the problem. Forest guards from Kenya Forest Services have been urged to partner with police officers as some of the illicit dens are hidden in the forests.
Distilling points zingine kama 3 ambazo hatukuweza kufikia. Pia tungetoa mwito kwa idara ya msitu Kenya Forest Services washirikiane na sisi katika kuharibu hizi vituo vya kupikia pombe haramu. Hii pombe ndio inafika kwenye vijiji vyetu, ndio inaharibu watoto wetu, ndio inaharibu vijana wetu, na ndio inazuia mambo mengi ya maendeleo katika sehemu zetu za vijijini.
Tumeshika watu kadhaa ambao tumepeleka kotini na wamestakiwa na wengine wamepigwa fine. Kwa hivyo tungeomba hata koti, kwa upande wa koti, wakati tunaleta hiyo watu wanahitaji wapigwe fine kubwa ndio washane na hii pombe.
On to KWS, where only 90 people out of the 4,000 youth from Narok County were shortlisted for KWS Scout Rangers at Olentimama Stadium. Speaking during the exercise, Dr. Francis Lesileu from KWS said that those recruited will be working with the community to make sure that all the problems faced by the community are resolved, especially near the Masai Mara. The 90 picked were from the 6 constituencies in Narok. This exercise was to help curb the unemployment rate in the region.
The stimulus program is the one which has kept it in. In fact, it's a government project. So it is a 6-month contract. After the 6 months, maybe it will be renewed or we'll do another recruitment. We'll know when the time comes. But it's a stimulus project, and because there has been no recruitment anyway in the last few years, and especially 2020, maybe that's why we attribute that to the large turnout. We have over 3,500 persons in this kiwanja. Others who have not even been shortlisted are here.
Hatukufurahia kazi ya leo. Kazi ya leo iko mzuri kabisa. Hii watu wangetapata kila subcounty mtu mmoja ingekuwa mzuri.
Niliapply hii kazi ya KWS, nilikuwa shortlisted. Tulikuwa watu 14 disability, 7 walikuwa na cards, 7 hawakuwa nayo. Lakini kitu nashangaa wamechukua tu mtu mmoja peke yake.
Sisi tukiwa walemavu katika hii county tumenyanyaswa kwa sekta ya employment. Mara mingi tunaona sheria imewekwa vizuri, lakini implementation imekuwa zero.
Moving on, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, has warned politicians against using the hustler and dynasty narrative, pointing out that the narrative is aimed at dividing the country ahead of 2022 elections. Speaking during a conference that brought together journalists and bloggers in Kisumu County, Philip Okundi and Dorcas Kedogo, who are NCIC commissioners, advised both teams not to publish divisive narratives that may incite Kenyans against each other. They added that the commission has already identified hotspot areas ahead of the general election and are putting them under a close watch.
We as a commission, we have gone to so many other forums. We are going on now, and even this one. We are going to meet, like today, we are meeting all the journalists and bloggers here in this capital, Kisumu, to try and see to it that you people should not be used by anybody to try and write things that will cause violence to happen amongst our people. So these are part of our preparations. The question of dynasty, the question of hustlers, the question of haves, the questions of have not, those are slogans which we have all along had in the political scene worldwide. But we should not use any of those terms to take it to heart such that we can try and cause unnecessary feelings which will make ourselves work against Kenyans who also deserve to live like ourselves.
Na kwa hivyo ndio maana tumeanza mikakati yetu mapema ili kuweza kuhamasisha kila vikundi ambavyo viko na viongozi ambao wako, tuweze kuwaelezea na tuweze kuzungumza pia nao, tujadili kuweza kujua mikakati gani mizuri ambayo tutaweza kutumia. Kwa mfano kama saa hii ambapo tunaona kwamba kuna wale ambao wanajiita ni matajiri na wengine wanajiita ni masikini. Ningependa kusema kwamba hata vidole vyangu hivi vitano havilingani. Kwa hivyo tungewaambia kwamba ni polepole watafika mahali ambapo wanahitaji, na tunawaonya kwamba wasiweze kutumiwa, wale ambao ni wadogo wasiweze kutumiwa, kwa sababu watakapotumiwa wao ndio wataumia na wale ambao wanawatuma watakuwa wamehepa.
The Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munye has told coffee farmers to solicit the goodwill of constitutional amendments proposed by the Building Bridges Initiative BBI, saying it will ensure more funds for counties to revolutionize the sector. Speaking during a public participation forum for proposed Coffee Bill 2020 at Kiama Coffee Factory in Gatanga Sub-County, Munye observed that the proposed increase of funding the devolved units will boost agriculture and curb corruption, which for long has marred the sector. He said MCAs should be in the front line, drumming up support for constitutional changes as they will get funds to develop their wards.
Things will be okay. Sindio? And I know these people trust the president. No, hawezi kuwapeleka mahali anajua mnaenda kupotea. Hawezi kuwa na hiyo mpango. Na hiyo mpango si ya kufanya mtu president mtu fulani, hapana. Yule atakuwa president atapigiwa kura na nani? Na Wakenya. Sasa kila ward itakuwa assured iko na pesa yake ambayo governor hawezi kutoa ama kuwanyang'anya. Hata governor hao yametoka wapi? Ndio kuwe na maendeleo pia, equality of maendeleo within the county. 20 million minimum kwa kila ward.